It's a great pleasure to introduce John Farrelly, who's very recently appointed, or recently taken up the position as CEOs of the Charities Regulatory Authority. John.
Thanks. I suppose I'm thinking of a quick joke. A friend of mine used to say in revenue, I'm the regulator and I'm here to help you. So it'll be interesting over the next few years. I suppose I was in London earlier this week, and when I was getting off the tube, that computerised sort of brogue that tells you to mind the gap got me thinking about the charity sector. And really the idea, having worked in different charities, that good charities are born out of a gap in service, a gap in rights, and a gap in capability. And good charities are born in these gaps by individual citizens who care for others, and they flourish in these gaps. And I just wanted to assure you that as a regulator, we're very mindful of this, and we would be supportive of any citizen or any entity who wishes to establish a charity and register a charity in the public interest. So just to say that, that's a key point to start. I just want to give you a sense of the regulatory approach that we will be taking. The Charities Regulator aims to be a modern, robust and nimble regulator. We don't intend to be a quango. We don't intend to waste money. We want to do our job to ensure public trust and confidence in your work. We intend to implement the law so that the public can have confidence in the good work that occurs and is occurring as we speak. Good people doing good work in the public interest should be protected and encouraged. And as a regulator, we aim to apply the law so that good charities flourish. While the regulation of charities is a relatively new concept, the international evidence indicates that effective regulation needs to be transparent, accountable and proportionate, and that resources are targeted at the areas of highest risk. I want to assure you that as a charities regulator, we will be accountable. We will justify our decisions and our regulatory actions, and we will be fully accountable for the efficiency and effectiveness of our functions. We will also be transparent. We will be open to public scrutiny, and we will publish all of our decisions and reports. We will design and publish an authority monitoring approach so that all stakeholders, particularly the charities and the public, are clear on our regulatory approach and expectations. We will be a proportionate regulator. We will balance the needs of small and rural charities with the needs of larger organisations with a national or international focus. We will facilitate charities to be compliant. And if you can take one word away from today, it's the word compliant. However, where required, we will escalate and enforce the law in an appropriate, evidence-based manner. I really want to talk to you in terms of appreciating the diversity in the sector. Good charity regulation needs to take account of this. And as a person who has both volunteered, worked as a manager and indeed as a board member in a number of charities, I'm mindful of the levels of capacity and capability. However, that doesn't alter the fact that all charities are required to be in compliance with the law. Our intention is that all charities will comply with the law with the least amount of regulatory burden. We want charities to use the minimum amount of time achieving compliance so that the maximum amount of effort goes into the service users and the beneficiaries. We'll approach our compliance activities along a continuum, and this will all be published, tailoring our interventions to be effective. I want to talk a little bit about consultation and engagement. We want to be a nimble, value-for-money regulator, targeting our resources at risk. And really to achieve our mandate in such a diverse sector and to understand the sector and its challenges, we will need to engage and consult effectively. Indeed, the international evidence shows that engagement is a key feature of effective regulation. Because of the diversity of mission and capacity in the sector, it will be imperative to work closely with and leverage the capacity of third parties who understand and communicate into the sector. In essence, we will need to commission services for part of our functions, not the regulatory part, but other part of our functions in terms of, because the Act is quite clear, it's about regulation and protection of charities. They're part of our functions that we can commission services so they're more efficient while we target the regulatory resources at the areas of risk. So we've put a fair bit of effort into this to date. Indeed, our head of registration, Eamon, has led on that. And we've just completed a nationwide series of 23 information workshops for charities, which were attended by 1,700 individuals representing 1,200 charities. And that's good work, and this work has de facto already increased compliance levels. We will continue to actively engage with the sector, seeking ways to achieve our goals and regulatory approach. For example, we will need to engage more formally with the academic sector in terms of educational programmes for trustees. And we will need to engage again with umbrella bodies to communicate to smaller charities and drive through the message that registration and reporting is required by law. We'll also put in place agreements and memorandums of understandings with other state bodies. Again, we want to avoid regulatory burden where we're, and again the idea of HICWA and the other regulators, the Gardaes, the different companies' offices, we don't want you spending your time satisfying the state. We want you spending your time working hard so that your beneficiaries are satisfied and their life and your cause is increased. So we already have an MOU with the Revenue Commissioners, and we'll be putting in place by the end of the year MOUs and agreements with the CRA, the Garda Síochána and the Corporate Enforcement. I want to talk about the Register of Charities, and this for me is a fundamental public assurance instrument. For the remainder of this year, we will be investing the majority of our regulatory resources in ensuring a robust and complete Register of Charities is in place. The register is a key step and a legal requirement to increase public trust and confidence. The register will provide relevant information to donors, beneficiaries and the general public. I'm not interested in our register being available for the legal or the accountancy sector. I want our register, the Joe Soap, the man on the street, to be able to read our register, form a view about you and decide if they want to support you. So the register will help to strengthen the accountability of each individual charity and from that the overall sector. But from my point of view, notwithstanding the efforts and the incidents in the past, I believe that each individual charity and the trustees within that charity are accountable for their transparency and how they work and how they're perceived. Even forgetting about regulation, it's a key tool, but actually it is the transparent charities, the charities with good governance, the charities who are connecting with the public and working hard for their cause. They are the charities that will be supported. I think an intact and complete register will also enable us to commence a campaign. So we want to get that register intact as quickly as possible. We will then commence a campaign educating the public about charities, how to look out for and how to recognise a registered charity and how to contact us if they believe someone is operating unregistered or somebody is breaking the law. We want the public to be our eyes and ears, and we will set in place systems through the media and also through all forms of media so that the public know they can contact us, that whistleblowers know they can contact us, that decent people within the sector, and that's the majority of people, can contact us if there's any sense that a charity is not in compliance with the law. So, in conclusion, a key function of the Charities Regulator is to increase public trust and confidence in the management of charitable trusts and organisations. We believe that adopting and consistently demonstrating high levels of governance, accountability and transparency are essential in helping organisations foster the trust of their donors and beneficiaries. Now, people talk about governance a lot, and it's out there somewhere. Essentially, the Charities Act 2009 and the regulations that will come down the line and the standards and the guidelines that we will produce in consultation with yourself, they are your documents. They are designed for you as the provider of the services, the provider of the ideas, the provider of making that difference in society. As the regulator, we will be ensuring that you are adhering to the law. I suppose we will play our part, and I think someone alluded to it. A well-regulated sector is one which assures the public and enables people to give with confidence, to give their time and to give their money. I'm very, very mindful of, there's a lot of conversations about money. I'm also mindful of that the biggest resource invested in this country in charitable causes is time, people's time. So I think we need to recognise that and get that message out there because, you know, much of the charitable works, and someone alluded to it about the large organisations, there's over 4,000 small organisations there where money isn't an issue. It's about getting the donations of time from people to assist them in achieving their causes. So I believe a well-regulated sector will help, and I will be setting out over the next 5 years with my team to ensure that the sector is well regulated. I think we've been vested by the state on behalf of the people with the new powers, and we will use them reasonably, responsibly and proportionately. We will regulate the charity sector in the public interest so as to ensure compliance with the law and support best practice in the governance, management and administration of charities. The vision and our vision of our team, the Charities Regulator and my board is that Ireland will have a vibrant, trusted charity sector that is valued for the public benefit it provides. I believe that the charity sector plays a vital role in our society and provides public benefit in diverse ways to communities in Ireland and across the world. In my view, charities soften the state, and I think that's important. And for me, the independence and growth of charities is crucial to the growth of a modern, compassionate and caring Ireland. I would ask you that if you can take one thing away from today, it is the word compliance. We as a charity need to be compliant. We need to be registered. We need to have applied to be registered. And we need to ensure that we're reporting as required by the law. If this is happening, I think we're the first step in absolutely assuring the public and creating confidence. So look, thank you. I look forward to working with the sector over the next 5 years. Thanks.